So tonight, I will be attending the inauguration of our batch for OPIT's incoming class. I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this for a few months now. So yeah, come join me. Here it comes. Only a few more minutes, around 20 minutes. So yeah.
This moment invites us to reflect on what we have achieved together and even more importantly, to look ahead with courage and vision. This year has been a milestone in OPIT young history. In March, we celebrate our very first graduation ceremony with the first students of the Master of Science in Applied Data Science and Artificial Intelligence receiving their degrees. It was a proud moment, from welcoming our first applicants only 3 years ago to celebrating graduates now prepared to shape society.
All right, the inauguration is done, and I am more excited than before the event. The event was very insightful. A lot of people in OPIT and students actually shared insights. But before I'd share with you the insights and takeaways from that event, let me just share why I decided to get into an MS program, into a master's program, and why I chose OPIT. So, actually, this started when I was invited to be a speaker for TEDx in Davao City. When the people in Davao reached out to me, I had no topic, but they insisted that I talk about AI, artificial intelligence. So that was the hot topic a year ago, and it still is, right now. AI has been growing rapidly in the past few years. So they wanted me to speak about it. In the roster of many speakers that they had, I think I was the only one who was from tech or who had a tech background. I guess they wanted me to appeal to a broader audience, and what better way to do that but to talk about AI. So I wasn't an expert in AI. I am not an expert in AI, but I wanted to do the TEDx talk. So yeah, I said yes. Let me see what I can do. So I did some research, got into it. I knew a few things about AI. I took a course here and there, but nothing really serious. I knew the foundations, the math behind it, but I never knew the impact. So while I was researching about TEDx for my talk, I found out the ill effects of artificial intelligence in society. Not only in the algorithms themselves, that AI itself, but in training data for AI, and the social impact and the environment impact it has on us. So my mind was opened, and I saw that hey, there's a problem here. So my talk, I'll link it down below, or maybe I could put it here somewhere. So my TEDx talk that I still haven't really watched myself, because I cringe whenever I think about it. But my talk revolved around the ill effects or the bad impact of AI that has on society and on the environment. So that got me thinking, and especially now with what's happening in the months after TEDx, it got me thinking into what role can I play in this time? No one is actually, or very few people are actually talking about this. So I wanted to make a difference and make an impact in how the narrative around AI is being formed. Because from mainstream news outlets and articles, it's all about AI replacing everything, automating everything, but nothing is being, or there's not much talk about AI uh, having, this huge carbon footprint, or employing uh, people in emerging countries and paying them minuscule amounts. That type of oppression. So there's a lot of conversations that are being lost uh, between the headlines, and I want to be a champion of bringing those conversations forward. But I thought, I don't have the credentials to do that. I still do it using my platforms, but I wanted to solidify my knowledge and my foundations around AI, about AI, especially in regulation, in ethical AI, in responsible AI. So I decided to research on how I can do that. Should I, jump on Udemy, Coursera, and MOOCs, which I've been doing, in the previous years. But I decided to go with the formal route because, if I'm doing this anyway, I've been doing this. I've been learning machine learning, deep learning, AI. Why not formalize it? But with that decision, I decided to actually find a master's program that's suitable for what I'm needing. So with that, I did research. I found even before this, I was already looking at maybe pursuing a master's in computer science online with I think what university is this? OMSCS from Georgia Tech. I was looking at that. I've been monitoring its progress because it's in terms of online learning and online master's programs. I think it's the pioneer. It's been there for more than a year, more than a decade. I mean, so it's been proven. It's there. It has produced a lot of graduates, but from what I was seeing, it's too rigid. I don't think I could work on it and still have a life. There's a lot of horror stories I've read on Reddit of people dropping off from the program because it's just too much, just too hard. And I don't want to go into a master's program knowing that maybe there's a high chance that I could not finish it. So I tried to look for other programs. I almost, enrolled in or tried to apply for Georgia Tech, and I'm glad that I didn't. I ran into some technicalities with my documents, so I'm glad that I didn't push through because before I go to it, but I found OPIT. So after that, I tried to research more, and I also found University of the People. There's also a new program here in the Philippines by the Asian Institute of Management. I think it's a diploma course on AI and machine learning, postgraduate diploma course. I actually reached out to them, but I wanted to uh, make sure that that diploma course is accredited globally because I also wanted to maybe the option of maybe pursuing a formal master's degree or a formal PhD degree on AI should also be there. So if this postgraduate diploma isn't accredited globally, it limits my options, because I don't want to just limit my academic options here in the Philippines. For those who don't know, I've studied, or I've had experiences in, I think, around uh, 10 universities already, or 10 academic institutions already, ever since I started, schooling. That's including, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 colleges and 2 universities, uh, postgraduate. I also took postgraduate programs in electrical engineering, although I didn't finish it. And that's why I want to finish this, because I don't want to go through that again. Go through that academic rigor, and that at the end of the day, I just don't get the full experience, or the diploma to go with it. Not that the diploma is that important, but it's something that signifies that I got through this. And to tell you the truth, I'm rambling here. I'm sorry, but uh, when I was taking graduate studies in electrical engineering, I wasn't really into it. But even though I wasn't really into the program, I wasn't really motivated. I was able to finish up to uh, the point where all the academic requirements are done, except for the capstone or the thesis. So I was able to do that. But now, fast forward to today, my motivation is to finish this and to get that credential and the knowledge and the insights, so that it would align with my goals of being the voice for the voice of responsible AI here in the Philippines, and maybe in Asia. So yeah, I look at that. I looked at AIM. I reached out to them. Hey, is this accredited? Does this open more opportunities for me in case of I want to pursue higher academic learning further? And they couldn't answer me. Not sure why. Even in the back and forth, the person that I've been coordinating with wasn't really, or he kept beating around the bush, not really answering my questions directly. And for me, it was a red flag. One thing is it isn't cheap. The program isn't cheap for a postgraduate degree. It wasn't even, or for a postgraduate diploma. It wasn't even a master's degree. And I think from I remember, it was around 1 million pesos. Don't quote me on that. I forget. Could be half of that, but still, it's the whole program is not cheap. Even a half million pesos of tuition isn't a joke. So couple that with the lack, or the quote unquote non-response to my questions, and you know I also didn't want anymore to have to learn from an institution that's based in the Philippines. I wanted to broaden my perspective. So I ultimately decided to drop my application in AIM and pursue something international. But before that, I also looked at University of the Philippines programs, but they only had, I think, masters in IT, which wasn't really aligned to what I was doing. So I gave up on that. And thankfully, I don't know how I found this. Maybe I was targeted by the algorithms, because I was, searching on Google of online programs that I could take that's related to AI. And I think I remember specifically using keyword search terms around ethics and responsible AI. And in one way or another, OPIT came up. So OPIT is an Open Institute of Technology. It's actually a new program. It was mentioned earlier that we were only the third batch of incoming students. So they've only been doing this 3 years. So this is a very young institution. And they are fully remote, a fully online academic institution. They are based in Malta. So I looked at their website and they specifically had what I need, which was Masters in Responsible Artificial Intelligence. It was already there in the program, in the title of the program itself. Responsible, that term responsible. So I looked into it, I looked at the curriculum and the prospectus, and I'm like, good God, this is what I needed. This is exactly what I need. But is this legit? I tried to look at the website, tried to do some research, and is this for real? We Filipinos are very, very, especially myself, I'm very wary of scams. And again, the tuition also wasn't really cheap. Converted into pesos, around 500,000 pesos for the whole program. So I wanted to know if this is actually legitimate. So I did some research. I'll go more into it later. And long story short, it was exactly what I needed. And it was as if it was designed specifically for me. So it's online. There's large emphasis on uh, on responsible AI and ethics. There's alignment with European standards for responsible AI. It was international. It was designed for working people like myself, and I think it just aligned. So I got excited. I reached out. I emailed them. I had a lot of questions. We had scheduled an online meeting, a Zoom meeting, a Zoom call with Miss Greta Mayochi, the head of marketing and admissions of OPIT. And during that call, they assessed me. They assessed if I was fit, and I also during beforehand I also submitted my requirements, my resume, my curriculum vitae, and they assessed that they think that I would be a good fit for OPIT. I think for the program Masters in Science in Responsible AI, they are kind of more stricter because it's more rigorous than the other programs. They have MS in Data Science and Cybersecurity, which is not related to what I'm to my goals, but I think from our conversation, what Greta was saying is this is among the more rigorous programs, so they had to be more stricter. Thankfully, they found that I actually could be fit for the program, so they accepted me. And in that call, I also had a lot of questions. Is this legit? Is this recognized throughout globally? And I also did my research, and Greta's answers aligned with my research. So I was convinced that this was actually the program for me, and that was back in early 2025. So I think January, February. Unfortunately, I couldn't meet the. I was too late for the previous batch of acceptees. So I had to wait up to now, September, for me to actually start the program. But the wait was excruciating. I was very excited. I was waiting to go. But at least, I got to prepare. I am now going to focus more, put my 100% focus on finishing this program. So with that, this has been a long winding narration of how I got into OPIT. Apologies for that, but let me just give you a few of my takeaways from the event, the inauguration event earlier. So it was hosted by Greta, the one I mentioned earlier, who was the current head of marketing and admissions at OPIT. She served as the moderator and host for the inauguration program. It lasted for an hour, but it was very, very fruitful and very, very insightful for me. So uh, the first to talk was Francesco Profumo, who was a former Italian education minister around 2011 to I guess 2013. Actually, when I did the research, his name came up, and I saw that uh, you know he was a former Italian education minister, which actually added to the legitimacy of the program. So when he talked, he told us that actually for this particular batch, we were almost or around 300 new students from 90 countries. So that's a lot. But considering the number of programs that OPIT has, it has a couple of bachelor's degrees and I think 4 or 5 master's degrees. I think this is still manageable and small compared to, for example, I think Georgia Tech has thousands of students per batch. So that's less manageable in terms of if you're a professor, how could you manage a class of 1,000, right? So I think this is good, at least for me. Yeah. I could reach out to people and to the professors more in this setting. Having 9 students from almost 100 countries opens me up to collaborating with people not only in the Philippines. So that's a rare opportunity for me, since ever since in my 10 schools and universities, I've never had interactions academically with students from other nationalities. So this is very important for me, since this would open up my 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 viewpoint uh, to global uh, to global realities, not only in the Philippines. So this is very important. So they are also very closely tied to corporate partners. One thing that actually got me excited about OPIT is that they want close collaboration with the industry, and that they have uh, larger focus on real world applications versus other universities, other traditional universities that are more academic. And I've seen academic. Even here in the Philippines, University of the Philippines has this reputation of being hard for being hard's sake. It just has to be hard. And in this day and age, I don't believe that's relevant anymore. AI can also already help you figure out things that uh, traditionally was hard, or were hard to understand. Now AI can dissect that and make it more palatable for people who otherwise would have had harder time understanding it. So I was after a program that's more geared towards applicability in the real world, and OPIT was perfect for that, and they actually take that seriously, and I think their thesis and capstone projects are closely aligned and closely uh, and have close collaboration with industry partners. So they've grown currently in their 3 years of existence, 15 corporate partners that they already have. They also launched just recently uh, an internal AI tool, which they call OPIT AI Copilot, which they're hoping could help students or could help enrich students' experience here in OPIT. So I don't think I haven't heard of any other universities that have done that. I could be wrong, but that's one thing that's always welcome. So after Francesco Profumo, the CEO of Malta Further and Higher Education Authority, or MFHEI, talked next. So MFHEI is a qualifications framework regulator. So in Malta, so they try to align, or their purpose is to align higher education institution standards with the European standard. So there's this European standard and there's this Maltese standard. So the MFHEI is in charge of making sure that higher education institutions in Malta follow the European standard. So MFHEA is currently accredited by one of the European accreditation bodies. I forgot the name, but there's this other accreditation body that they're trying to get into, and I think they just recently got rejected. And it's, from what I'm reading, it's kind of a quote unquote scandal or maybe embarrassment for Malta to be rejected by that governing body. But at least from what I understand is no one really gets in on their first try, and that's actually actually normal for regulatory bodies. You're trying to get into that organization to try to be accredited. Of course, you're going to be rejected on your first try. So the good news is they are trying to get accredited by that governing body. So that this MFHEA will get more legitimacy in the European framework. But they're already accredited by another body. I just forget the names of these organizations, but they're already accredited by another body, and they just want to solidify their legitimacy even further. So hopefully they could get that accreditation in the next couple of years. So the CEO of that accrediting body, MFHEA, talked earlier on the event, which gives me another assurance that hey, OPIT is for real. So yeah, the programs of OPIT follow the European framework through the Maltese qualifications framework. So if you're watching this and trying to see or trying to learn for yourself if OPIT is for you, you could consider that. Do your own research, look into how Malta is accrediting higher education institutions, and you would see you would probably run into MFHEA, which actually accredited OPIT. I saw it in their website that OPIT is accredited. Their programs are there. You would see how they're aligned with the European framework. So go and see that. Right after the CEO of MFHEA, which is Dr. Rose Ann Kusheri, another person shared their insights, which is Giorgio, I'm butchering their names, Tachia, which is he is actually a former manager at Fastweb, which from what I've read is one of Italy's first internet companies. So now currently he's a managing director at Globant, which is I think a tech solutions provider, global tech solutions provider. So there's a lot of takeaways in his speech or in his talk, in which he said that to really stand out in this environment, you need to stop thinking like a technology supplier, stop thinking like a consultant or a developer. This is not a good time for that. Instead, think as a business enabler. So also be a partner in digital transformation in organization. So this resonated with me because this is how I think about myself. I don't think of myself as just a mere developer, or I just learned this recently. I don't think of myself as a quote unquote code monkey. Someone who just takes the tasks, reviews it maybe, and does the work. Nothing else. I pride myself in helping build, helping build the business in a direction we want to take it. If you want to be, a leading AI the development company, or a leading solutions provider, I want to be a huge part of that direction. Maybe even, be part of the decision makers, building the culture, building the vision, and also enabling, the infrastructure and the technology to support that. So this really resonated with me. Another key insight here that he shared is that businesses are currently moving from B2B to B2C. So B2B means business to business, directly doing business with other businesses. B2C is directly to customers. So he gave an example, which is FIFA, which is, I think, one of their clients currently, and that it's moving from selling rights to networks like, say ESPN, ABC. So they're moving from that to actually directly interacting with fans. I think this is also the same with how NBA is currently doing it. Before they had, they're very big on doing business with corporations like TNT, ESPN, but now they have their own apps in which people like us, can just directly on demand watch games, replays of games, highlights of games, see um, uh, real-time statistics. So what Giorgio is saying is most businesses are now doing that. He also shared some vital skills that people should be working on in the age of AI to stay relevant and to stay valuable in this market. First, of course, the baseline hard technical skills. That's a given. But more than that, you should be able to think in a cross-disciplinary way. Not only being able to code, being able to model AI, or being able to train AI models or build AI models, but also be able to learn about the business. How does marketing work? How does sales work? So I think this is a theme that I've been reading, not only here, in the event, but I've been reading this from other sources, that one of the most vital skills in the age of AI, in the fourth industrial revolution, is being able to synergize knowledge. So if you know a little bit of things here, a little bit of knowledge there, but be able to, get all of that and form a solution, or a business solution, is going to be vital. Another skill is, related to that, is understanding vertical business more. Just being able to learn how your business works. I think even in our organization, we emphasize that our engineers should know what the business is, what's it for, who our customers are, and be able to empathize with our customers, which leads us to the next skill, which is human skills. Be able to have that empathy, know how to tell a story so that people who are discussing, who you are having discussions with, could also empathize with you. And lastly, adaptability. Tech is very fast. It moves fast. As we've seen in the past half decade of AI progress, tech moves very fast. So you need to be or you need to be able to adapt to changes. So lastly, he wrapped up his talk by saying that you, as a technical expert, should be able to turn technology into business impact. It's just more than code. It's not just code. You have to go well beyond that. So yeah, after Giorgio, three students from OPIT actually shared their experience, and this is very interesting and further solidified my decision to pursue OPIT. Not that I can back out. I've already paid in full. So, but it makes me feel that hey, I made the right decision. So yeah, the first one was an American, Ryan Beckham, who actually graduated just recently with a bachelor of science in, I think, computer science in OPIT, and he enjoyed the experience so much that he decided to pursue the master's degree in data science and AI on OPIT. So what I was surprised was he already had 25 years of experience in IT. So that just shows that when it comes to pursuing education, age doesn't matter. So 25 years of experience in IT, that driving force that led him to actually pursue first a bachelor's degree and then a master's degree was because he actually came back to programming uh, just recently. So he wanted to make sure that what he knows is relevant in today's world. And he was pleasantly surprised that OPIT was did not only provided that for him, but gave him more than he was expecting. So what he said set OPIT apart from other programs was that professors were not too academic. I mentioned that earlier, and he emphasized that here, that they have actual work backgrounds. This is one of the gripes I had, or I have with Philippine institutions, is that most of the professors don't have actual work experience. So what they know is often very theoretical. And even in electrical engineering, when I was taking uh, that up, a lot of them were very academic. Some of them had, experience in the industry, but not really to a point that that these are the experts in terms of real world application. But here in OPIT, even during my research, I saw that these people actually know their thing. They could align uh, theory with actual practice. So one good thing I also learned from Ryan was that professors personally know who you are. I said earlier that I was did research on Georgia Tech's OMSCS, and I could see there that there was very little interactions between the students and the professors, and I didn't want that, especially in an online program. I think if I were to do that, I should just enrolled with Coursera. What's the difference? I wanted someone. I wanted more interaction with professors that I could have more intimate uh, uh, knowledge transfers. So this is a very welcome insight for me. Also, doubling down on the legitimacy of the program, Ryan said that the degree is licensed across all Europe. And because he is an American, he tried to certify it in the US, and he was successful. He did that because he also wanted to apply for a master's degree at Cornell, and he was accepted. So I think after graduating in the master's program in OPIT, I think he is also planning to study at Cornell on a face-to-face environment. And yeah, also he said that there's a large emphasis in OPIT on the ethics of AI, which is a very, music to my ears. So another student that shared their experience was Irene, I think. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Irene De Nevi or Irene De Nevi. She's an Italian who's also taking up MS Responsible AI like me. So she sought the flexibility in an MS degree, and she wanted a curriculum that is connected with the market. So she also said that the professors in OPIT are approachable, and she's currently actually working on her thesis in collaboration with one of the professors, which is very nice. In my previous experience in Mapua, I'm dropping names now. Mapua, UP. I also took masters in UP for one sem, but in Mapua, one of the things that made me drop the program was that the advisors for the thesis for the capstone were hard to reach out to. They weren't really accessible, and they were approachable. You could talk to them, but I think because they were also very busy with work, they were hard to actually get a hold of. It was very hard to have that back and forth through emails and even in text. So I just I just said that I'm done with this. I don't want to pursue this anymore. It was also around the time that I decided to actually pursue programming and web development as a career. So it just didn't align with me anymore. Which is a shame. Yeah, excuse me. Which was actually a shame, but I don't really regret it. So after her, a Nigerian student came up, and he was again someone who was very experienced. He has 16 to 17 years in fintech experience, and also had a lot of those major cybersec certifications. So initially, he just wanted to check or tick the boxes. He has those certifications, but he didn't have a master's degree in cybersecurity. So he wanted to tick that box and applied for OPIT and got accepted. But he said that it exceeded his expectations. From his words, he said that the program was a huge eye-opener for him. There was a lot of things that he already knew, but there was already also a lot of things that he didn't even knew existed. So he got a lot of value from the program. He also said that it was important that he got to interact with students all around the world, and some of which are now actual close friends of his. So that's good news. He also valued that everyone was free to challenge any ideas in class, which I think would be very interesting for me, because I in my years in the academic setting, I was always the passive one. I think my disposition in life and in my temperament has changed dramatically ever since since the last time I stepped in an academic setting. I'm more vocal now. I am more confident about myself. So I think I want to challenge myself to be very, very active in class and having those discussions with my classmates and with the professors. So this will be a very welcome environment for me. Like I said, he also emphasized this. The professors, although they are, good academically, they know the theory, but they also have done it in the real world and are currently doing it. And that's very important. One of the professors of University of Malta also came in and shared very valuable insights and wisdom to us in that call. So what he emphasized was, this is not just a course, this is a launch pad. I think this alludes to what Obiara, the Nigerian student, said earlier. This isn't just something that you would tick or part of a checklist that you would tick. This is going to open up a lot of opportunities for you. So he shared this, actually a recent experience of his, that just this weekend they were able to build a speech-to-text model for the Maltese language, despite having the constraint of not having enough data. So they figured out a way to build that speech-to-text model despite those constraints. So he provided that anecdote because he wants the students to choose a problem and to focus on solving it, and to not be bounded by those restrictions, to be creative in building solutions. So pick challenges that matter to people, especially in when we get into the capstone at the end of the program. He encouraged the students to be curious, to ask questions, like I said earlier, to not be a spectator, but be a performer. This is very important. Your capstone is not a PDF, but it is a key that would unlock many things. Opportunities in research, in industry, of course, and to be that leader in your chosen field. So I want to emphasize this. I want to repeat this. Your capstone is not a PDF, and it is a key. This is very, very sad. I see this occur in the Philippine setting, in Philippine universities and higher education and here in the Philippines, in that capstone and thesis, most of them are a joke. I just want to to talk real here, give you that real talk. Thesis and research papers here in the Philippines, most of them just a joke, just something that you have to accomplish. So just finish that program, just to tick that box. And I personally don't want that. If you could see, just do a search on Facebook right now. Search thesis capstone, and you would see a lot of these Facebook groups, Facebook pages offering free services to do your research and your thesis for you. And a lot of these theses actually don't produce impact in the real world. Of course, there are exceptions, of course. In UP, maybe, but in some of the top universities. But let's just be real. A lot of these theses have been made by other people, or if they're made by the person himself or the student himself, they don't actually produce impact in the real world. And I want to avoid that. I want to challenge myself, especially with the goal of being an expert in responsible AI, in regulation, in making sure that AI produces a positive impact in the world. My thesis too, and my capstone too, should produce positive impact in the real world. So that's my challenge to myself. It's actually, to truth be told, it's scaring me. I'm not sure if I could pull it off. But I think, with how the OPIT program is supporting the students, I think that's doable for me. So, crossing my fingers. So lastly, the founder of OPIT, Ricardo Acolepo, shared his thoughts and his insights to the incoming students. So he shared that the purpose of OPIT is to build a learning community, not only not a diploma mill, like I mentioned earlier. So actually, he shared that one of the Nigerian students reached out and messaged them and saying that OPIT is it's not just about the content, it's about the people, and that is very good. I think for me that really reinforces that OPIT is doing something really revolutionary in terms of you know transforming education for the next industrial revolution and keeping it relevant, in this world. He also said that this is a very valuable insight. Most companies are still halfway through the last wave of tech innovation. So with all the talk of you know AI adoption in business, a lot of companies aren't even finished adopting the last wave of technology. So what are these? Cloud computing, maybe even blockchain, but mainly cloud computing, moving their infrastructure from bare metal to the cloud and being able to scale your operations globally. So, which I agree, even banks here in the Philippines, I think aren't allowed to be fully on the cloud. I'm not saying that the cloud is the perfect solution for everything, but at least some of your business should be on the cloud. It makes sense to be on the cloud, and some can be, bare metal. A lot of businesses here in the Philippines don't really have migrated to new technologies yet. Even moving from something like COBOL or legacy Java to something like Rust, even PHP, to something like Python. A lot of these haven't really transitioned yet. So what more for adopting AI? So this is going to be a very, very slow transition for a lot of these businesses. So despite that, nobody really knows what is going to happen in the future. But one thing is for sure, the tech world is a roller coaster, I agree. Even in AI, it's been ups and downs. On 1 month, there's a huge hiring, and the second month, that team is being dissolved. So it's not only is it fast, but the highs and lows are very fast now. He said that the technical skills will be foundation to freedom. So unfortunately, for others who don't like learning constantly, today's world with AI, it's inevitable. It's unavoidable. It's inevitable. You have to learn constantly. Having that knowledge, that foundation, that technical skills will not only help you prevent future disasters in your organization, but you will also become a very, very valuable person during emergencies. And I emphasize this because I've experienced this, in which whenever there's the house is burning, who does the company turn to? I've had this experience here in my current company in Postpo, in which our CTO was gone and the house was burning, and I had to step up. Who else would take over and get the systems in a stable condition? I could have just backed off and do nothing. I cared about the business. I cared about what the mission was, about our business's mission. So I stepped in, I helped out, and I still do whenever things go astray. So this is going to make you valuable, and I think it made me valuable to the company. Yeah, if you want to build products today, you need to have a broader perspective. Even if you don't, you aren't aspiring to to be a startup founder, this is still going to be very important, especially if you're going to transition from maybe being an individual contributor to a leadership role. You need to have not just the technical skills, but you need to learn more about the business. How do things come together? So this is very important too. It is not about being insulated from change. I think people are learning that now. You can't escape change, but it is about being able to navigate it. So having the technical skills like AI know-how, or AI literacy, for example, and having knowledge about the technologies that make it happen and make web development happen, make maybe blockchain happen or cybersecurity happen. It helps you navigate an ever or a fast-changing world. So he also gave us a warning, which I already know this. It will not be easy, and the OPIT's program, online program, it's not for everyone. So you need to be consistent and persevering. He also noted a couple of things on OPIT's roadmap for next year, for 2026. So this actually got me really excited, and I think this was already also brought up by Ryan Beckham, the American student I mentioned earlier, in which OPIT is planning to launch an online PhD on AI in 2026, which gave me tingles, butterflies in my stomach, because I was also thinking about what comes next after finishing, if I finished OPIT's master's program, what comes next? And I was also thinking about maybe pursuing a PhD. So I was already researching on PhD programs on AI. I didn't see anything worth pursuing. So if all goes well, and if I enjoy OPIT's program, maybe an option would be pursuing PhD through OPIT. So yeah, this is very exciting. They are also actually planning on launching again next year their first in-person bootcamp. Not really interested in that, but could be something I could do in the future. But I'm also planning on attending in person the graduation ceremonies on Malta, if ever that happens. Again, crossing my fingers that I finish this. So wrapping things up, he shared that smart people focus on the right things. So yeah, that's it. After that, they wrapped up the program, and yeah, a lot of takeaways from just an hour of that event. So yeah, I hope you, especially for people who are thinking about pursuing a master's program and looking at OPIT as an option, I hope you get a lot of insights, or you got a lot of insights from this video. I will be sharing more about my experience of OPIT as I go along, the struggles, the exciting parts, and the insights and the learnings that I get from this program, and the experiences. So if you want to get more of that, if you're interested in that, do subscribe to this channel. What I'm thinking is to make this raw. I don't have time to edit anymore. I do try to edit my videos, but with work, with family, and now with this graduate program, with me going back to the academe, I don't think I could edit my videos anymore. So I will be uploading these raw. So yeah, let me know what you think. If you have any questions, just comment down below. I will try to answer them. And yeah, if you like the video, please do give this a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. See you on the next video.